Lauren, tech job really, more like tech hobby. The aroma of roasted turkey filled mom's sun-drenched dining room a scene of festive cheer. My stomach dropped seeing that Facebook post. Aunt Carol tagged everyone except me. Smiling faces, cranberry sauce, a knife twisted. Years of dismissals echoed. Dad scoffed, starting another app Lauren. My hands trembled. Inside, I was screaming. Outside, I remained composed. Then the notification. Sterling Ventures secured the AlphaTech contract. A silent victory. Ever felt unseen, undervalued? Hit like and stick around because this Thanksgiving's about to get real. Trust me, payback's sweeter than pumpkin pie. 2008. College graduation day was searing hot. My parents beamed, yet their focus was on Chad, the real achiever with his business degree. Lauren's happy tinkering, Mom chirped to Aunt Carol. Christmas 2012. Emily received a brand new BMW. I got a second-hand sweater. It's the thought that counts, Dad said, clapping me on the back. It reeked of condescension. While they cruised in luxury, I patched up my beat-up Honda, fueled by resentment. 2015. My birthday dinner. Chad needed help with his startup. Alone, obviously. Their assumption, the expectation, it burned. Family helps family, Mom declared. I gave in, the resentment building, the Facebook post. Carol's smug smile, the perfect family portrait without me, the final straw. That night, staring at the screen, I made a decision. Enough. Years ago, the decision to conceal felt strategic, a way to protect budding success. No unsolicited advice, no constant requests, no soul-crushing judgment. The secret empire began to take shape, built on late nights and discarded doubts. I remember those early days vividly, eating ramen in my tiny apartment. The hum of the server racks a constant reminder of my solitary pursuit. No new clothes, no fancy vacations, no time for anything but code. The sacrifices felt immense, yet they paved the way. Then Sterling Ventures landed its first major client, securing venture capital. A breakthrough, a validation. I bought a modest condo, the first tangible sign of progress. Still silence. My family remained oblivious, content in their narrative of my meager existence. Meanwhile, Chad paraded his entrepreneurial genius, funded by my silent infusions. Mom remodeled the kitchen, courtesy of hidden dividends. Dad boasted about his retirement savings, fueled by my discreet contributions. All the while, they patted me on the head, oblivious to my true influence. Now the time for silence was over. My heart hammered in my chest. I felt a surge of anger and a flicker of guilt, but I steeled myself. No more. The revelation was coming and it would change everything. Deep breath. I'd rehearsed the scenario in my mind 1,000 times, each version more explosive than the last. This time I'd prepared something more calculated. I'd call Mom. "Thanksgiving at your place again," my voice casual. "Of course, dear." Mom bubbled, oblivious, everyone's so excited. A beat then, "Oh, Lauren, we assumed you were busy, with," she trailed off dismissive, "perfect." "Actually," I replied, "I'll be there." The family dinner was in full swing when I arrived, fashionably late. The air, thick with the sense of cinnamon and simmering resentment. Chad, sporting a new watch, another silent loan, clapped me on the shoulder. "Lauren. So glad you could make it. Thought you were too busy coding." His grin, infuriatingly patronizing. I scanned the room. Mom fussing over the turkey, Dad glued to the football game. Emily scrolling through her phone, oblivious. They hadn't a clue. Years of invisible support had bred a false sense of security, a conviction that I was the dependable yet inconsequential family member. "Just finished up a major project," I said, my voice even. Chad chuckled, "Big win for the little coder." "Bigger than you think, Chad," I replied, a smile playing on my lips. The room stills. All eyes turn to me. It's now or never. "That little coder," I continue, my voice gaining strength, "just closed a deal worth more than your entire company, Chad." A beat of silence. Chad's face pales, the smugness replaced by confusion. "What are you talking about?" He stammers, his hand instinctively going to his watch. "AlphaTech, Chad, remember them?" I pull out my phone, casually displaying an article announcing Sterling Ventures' acquisition of the contract, my name prominently featured as CEO. "Seems they preferred my hobby to your business acumen." Mom chokes on her wine. Dad lowers the TV volume, his brow furrowed. Emily finally looks up from her phone, her eyes widening. A hush falls over the room, broken only by the clatter of silverware. "Sterling Ventures," Dad finally speaks, his voice laced with disbelief. "You own Sterling Ventures." I do, I confirm, my gaze sweeping across their stunned faces. And that kitchen remodel, Mom, the new car, Chad, consider it an investment in family, though I'm not sure the returns are worth it anymore. I swipe through my phone, pulling up bank statements. Years of transfers labeled family support, Chad's loan, Mom's renovation. The numbers jump off the screen, a testament to my hidden generosity. Chad's face contorts with panic, his color drains. That's not possible, he sputters. You don't make that kind of money. Apparently I do, I say, meeting his gaze. The power shift is palpable. The room's atmosphere thickens. Mom's eyes well up with tears. Lauren, why didn't you tell us? She pleads, her voice trembling. We thought you were happy, just doing your thing. Happy being taken for granted, I ask, my voice hardening. Happy watching you all dismiss my work while I silently funded your lives. Dad rises from his chair, his face flushed with anger. You ungrateful. Ungrateful? I cut him off, my voice ringing with controlled fury. I've given you everything. And all I got in return was condescension and exclusion. The air crackles. Emily bursts into tears, realizing her monthly allowance is about to vanish. Her face is twisted by distress. She's no longer just irritated, she's in complete shock. I take a step back, surveying the wreckage. The illusion of family harmony lies shattered at my feet. The turkey sits cold on the table, a symbol of a Thanksgiving gone wrong. But in this moment, the only thing I feel is a strange sense of calm. Finally, free. So, I say, breaking the silence, who wants dessert? Chad lunges, Lauren, please, my business. Was built on a foundation of my money, Chad. A lesson in unsustainable practices, I cut in. He thought he could always rely on me. Wrong. Let's call this a forced restructuring. Mom, tears streaming, tries a different tactic. But family. Family doesn't exclude, dismiss, or exploit, I retort, my voice unwavering. It supports, encourages, and respects. I've been the bank, not the family. She always thought I'd cave, not anymore, Emily sniffs. I need that money. Then get a job, Emily. A simple answer, Dad sputters, you'll regret this. Regret setting boundaries, doubtful, I said. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a life to get back to. One where my achievements are celebrated, not exploited. I turn to leave, pausing at the doorway. Oh, and Chad, you laughed then, you're not laughing now. A final, decisive exit. Finally, I thought, my own Thanksgiving. The fallout was immediate and messy. Weeks of frantic calls, tearful voicemails, and even a surprise visit from Chad, groveling for a bailout. I ignored them all. My lawyer, Sarah, handled the cease and desist letters with ruthless efficiency. The silence that followed was deafening, yet liberating. I doubled down on my work, channeling my energy into sterling ventures. A new project, a chance to innovate, a path forward, free from familial obligations. Then came the second shoe. A letter arrived, not from Sarah, but from another law firm, a name I recognized. Blackwood and Thorne, a powerhouse in intellectual property law. My heart sank. What now? I braced myself. The letter was addressed to the Sterling Family Trust, a legal entity I'd established years ago, primarily for tax purposes. Inside was an invitation to a meeting regarding the future of Oak Haven Assisted Living. Oak Haven, my grandmother's nursing home. The one my parents had struggled to afford before I stepped in, silently, anonymously. I called Sarah, confusion and dread twisting in my gut. Oak Haven? What's Sterling Ventures got to do with Oak Haven? Everything, Lauren, she said, her voice calm but firm. You don't just own Sterling Ventures. You own the parent company that owns Oak Haven. It was part of the initial investment portfolio. You technically control the facility. My breath hitched. Oak Haven, the place where my grandmother, bless her soul, had lived out her final years. The place my parents visited religiously, fretting over costs, quality of care, the very foundation of their social life and perceived moral standing. I had provided everything. A slow, chilling realization dawned. This wasn't just about money. This was about control. The meeting at Blackwood and Thorne was sterile, impersonal. A senior partner, Mr. Thompson, greeted me with polite professionalism. Ms. Sterling, he said, leading me to a conference room, we understand you are the beneficiary and effective controller of the Sterling Family Trust, which holds a controlling interest in Consolidated Healthcare Systems, the owner of Oak Haven. He laid out the situation with clinical detachment. Consolidated Healthcare was facing financial difficulties. Overextended, mismanaged, and teetering on the brink of collapse. Without significant intervention, Oak Haven would be forced to close. I listened, my mind racing. I thought of my parents, their horrified reactions. I thought of the residents, their vulnerability. I had leverage that they never imagined. This was about much more than money. It was about something that they fundamentally valued: their image, their social standing, their moral compass. Mr. Thompson cleared his throat. Ms. Sterling, the Board of Consolidated Healthcare is prepared to offer you full operational control of Oak Haven. They believe your expertise in strategic management could turn the facility around. I paused, letting the weight of the moment sink in. This wasn't just revenge. This was a complete reshaping of the power dynamic. I'll consider the offer, I said, my voice calm and even. Back at my condo, I stared at the city lights. The hum of the server racks a familiar comfort. This was a game changer. I could let Oak Haven fall apart, watch my parents scramble, their carefully constructed world crumble around them. Or I could step in, assume control, and dangle their social security over their heads. The choice, as they say, was mine, and I knew exactly what I would do. A simple text: "Mom, Dad, we need to talk, Oak Haven." The call came immediately, Dad's voice strained and anxious. "Lauren, what's going on? What do you know about Oak Haven?" "Everything," I said, my voice devoid of emotion. "And it seems its future is in my hands." Months turned into a year. My family tried to reconnect, couching their pleas in guilt and vague promises. I remained cordial but distant, offering occasional financial assistance but nothing automatic. Chad started his own small business, a humbling experience that fostered a grudging respect. Emily enrolled in community college, showing a newfound ambition. Looking back, I see the scars, both theirs and mine. The idealized family was a myth, shattered by greed and unspoken expectations. But from the rubble, something real began to emerge. I invested in Oak Haven, turning it into a model facility, silencing any whispers of closure. I had always been the provider. I just changed how I provided. My life blossomed. The constant anxiety lifted, replaced by a quiet confidence. I traveled, I learned to play the piano, and I even started dating Mike, a coworker who understood the burden of family expectations. The weight on my shoulders lessened, replaced by lightness. Before, my worth was tied to their validation. Now it came from within. In the end, the true victory wasn't financial but emotional. It was the freedom to choose, to define my own worth, to prioritize my own happiness. It was the power to say no, and to finally truly be myself. I learned the importance of boundaries and the strength in walking away. Now when I stand on my balcony watching the sunset, I feel a profound sense of peace. The past is behind me. The future is mine. I am free. Ever feel trapped? You're not alone. Share your story. This isn't just about me, it's about us. Find your power, rise above. Success, not revenge, is the sweetest victory.